this is an example, I think, of how one's supposed to conduct this kind of analysis, so visiting the sites, not just reading the sources, but also physically visiting the sites and comparing the landscape to sources themselves. It was amazing. I suggest if you have any questions, we will postpone them, so we will do it after the second lecture, because first two lectures are dedicated to Emmaus, so in the middle we will make a break for questions, if you will have to Barnea, or to Dr. Arleta Kowalewska. And our second lecturer is Dr. Arleta Kowalewska. She finished her PhD at the University of Haifa in 2020. The work that she conducted there was a synthesis on Roman-style bathhouses in Syria, Palestine. And it was published recently as a monograph in Augsburg in 2021. Arleta, she is a research fellow at the Zinman Institute of Archaeology and a co-director of the Hippos excavation project, a classical city above the Sea of Galilee. In the last year, she was a postdoc fellow at Ariel University, working on final publication of the bathhouses from Shuafat. And currently, she's carrying a postdoctoral position at Tel Aviv University with Professor Tal and with me, studying the bathhouse at Emmaus Nicopolis. Arleta, please.
Thank you. So let's dive straight in. What I want to show you today is a few highlights from the project that I just started only in October last year of what will be eventually the final publication of the bathhouse at Emmaus, which was waiting for it unfortunately for a very long time. So I'm going to show you a few highlights now from the first impression that I have after reviewing the documentation from Gichon's excavation, and after opening the 100-something boxes of finds that we have from these excavations. So, just to see where we are, really quick. Yeah, it's working. Before we see the building itself, so here you have it marked in red, where it is located inside what we now call Park Canada. You see, not too far from the Byzantine and Crusader Church of Emmaus, really close to Route 3, so you can actually see it from there. And this is the aerial view, how it looked in 2023, the area. You can see already on this photo that we have some graves around it, because the whole building actually was surrounded by a Muslim cemetery from a certain point in time, which actually is a good thing for the building itself, because that's why it was preserved in a quite amazing condition as for what we can say about other bathhouses in the area especially. You see there is actually roofing and stuff like this. And this is because this part of the bathhouse was a veneration point, a symbolic mark for what is described as the grave of Sheikh Ubaid, and there was veneration going on there through the Mameluke and Ottoman period, so nobody was destroying the building, taking the stone to be reused for something else, so this is why it survived. But of course also with the cemetery built around this Sheikh Ubaid's grave, the problem is also to expand the excavation now, so you see it's always pros and cons to everything that we find. And on the subject, while we're already talking about the grave of Beit, I wanted to bring your attention to this remains of the veneration that we have from the building itself, that Gihon's expedition found a lot of them intact, oil lamps from the Mamluk and Ottoman period, and quite a few of them were actually found inside these niches here in the wall. So anyone that knows about archaeological buildings would, of course, know that these were the niches for beams that supported the second floor, while this room of what used to be the bathhouse was reused in later times. But then, when it became the mark of the grave of Beit, there was no second floor anymore, and these niches were used to put oil lamps used in the remembrance at this spot. So the good thing is also that we are getting now to this renewed project of the research of this bathhouse, that now we have way more data to interpreted all the parts more precisely, with, of course, all the research that happened from the times when Gichon first started excavating it. Actually, what happened is that when in 1977 he started excavating the bathhouse, he realized that there is actually no publication that he can use to compare the material. So he, in 79, published the first article summarizing the bathhouses of Eretz Israel. But of course, later on, especially in last 10 years, we have the French Balnéarien project with a lot of publications that we can now use. Of course, my research, and there is also now, the last couple of years, an international network of scholars, which we call ourselves BAF, in connection to the bathhouses, that now we have way more resources to compare the bathhouses between all the different parts of the Roman world. I give you this slide here because I wanted to show you how usually we find bathhouses in excavations. So you see there are no walls standing anymore, like in this example of very precise excavation. That's why you see I will also use it as an example to not only show you how other bathhouses look like without all the beautiful roofs surviving, but also what is actually a Roman bathhouse for those who are not versed in classical archaeology. So we're talking about the building that has three parts. So the first one, of course, is the unheated part, usually with some kind of pool that you should be able to at least a little bit swim in. And we have the heated part, which uses the Roman style heating called hypocaust, which I will show in a second. But of course, this heated area also needs a furnace and the service area from which it was heated. So these are the parts we have to expect in every Roman bathhouse, and of course also the water supply, which also you can see a pipe for it here in this example. And here we have the just a schematic view of how the hypocaust system looks like. So you see we have a double floor, so between the upper and the lower floor, which is supported by the small colonnades pillars. We have space for the hot air to come through and heat the bathhouse, and then the hot air can also go inside the walls by the means of this ceramic building products, which we call tubuli from Latin. what we have in Emmaus is a building of at least 4 halls that Gichon documented on the plan here. And you can see some of the spaces around the 3 amazingly preserved halls that are here in the center. Was also excavated in the 90s. It's not included here in the plan, but this will be also part of the renewed excavation to make an updated plan and interpreting all those additional spaces properly. So the amazing part, of course, is the surviving roofing. Of course, not everything is from the time that the bathhouse was constructed, seemingly in the 3rd century Common Era, as everything points to. The roofing and the walls will be also studied now with photogrammetric documentation, and then we will be able to, cut it into all the parts and study exactly to which period we should connect all the rebuildings that took place, but there is a lot to base the study on, and a lot of amazing examples of the domes and the barrel vaults and all kinds of stuff like this. And about the subject of the roofing, I also wanted to bring your attention to these finds that I found very interesting. A lot of pieces of very good quality roof tiles, which actually turn out to be coming from the, being dated to the Byzantine period and coming from the Jerusalem area. We found it in a lot of, especially monasteries, churches from this period in the Jerusalem area. We can tell by the fabric itself, but also the marks that we find on many of the pieces. So this was what roofed some part of the building, not connected to these 4 halls that we've seen, but an additional space next to them. Another very interesting thing is the glass window panes that we have quite a few examples of that are now being studied by Ruti Jackson-Tal. So we'll also be able to tell much more about it. As you can see, not only the shape is the interesting part here, but also the preserved binding material that held those panes in place in windows. What I can also show you, and we also by this can a bit better reconstruct in our minds how the bathhouse looked inside, are a lot of pieces of marble and other decorative stone slabs that this is only a tiny part of course, what we have from at least like 5 boxes of those and many more preserved still on the side. So you see some of them are actually pieces of opus sectile, so like nice designs of all kinds of colors of marble put together. So that's how the bathhouse must have looked inside. And we also have at least one figurative decoration of some kind of face, as I suspect, which might have been, for example, a decoration of the water spout in one of the spots at the bathhouse. And of course, the very, very interesting thing is the hypocaust system itself, which survived up to the upper floor in some spots inside the bathhouse. So sorry for the poor quality photos for now, but I was not yet able to get inside and photograph it properly with, of course, our better modern cameras. But the interesting thing that I can already signal to you now is that this kind of arranging the upper floor on the arches is actually what we now know very common solution. So Gichon suspected it to be very special. He was used to what Vitruvius actually explains in his writings about how the upper floor is flat, but we have both of these used in all kinds of bathhouses in our area and not only. But what is special to our area, I mean the region of Syria, Palestine, and also Arabia, are the kind of tubuli, this pipe-like things that were inside the walls, letting the hot air to come through and heat the spaces even better. And not the idea itself of the tubuli is what's special, but how these items were made. So usually they are made like roof tiles on a mold, but these ones are actually made on potter's wheel, so like ceramic vessels. We were not able, with all the bath network, to find in other regions a solution like this to produce those things. And as you can see from the photos here, there are at least two types that we can already tell by just looking at them straight of how this tubuli looked like. So there is some kind of, it of course comes from not one, but more than one workshops being used in the bathhouse at Emmaus, and it doesn't straight away gives us a dating indication, because those were used already in the bathhouses of Herod the Great and up to the Umayyad period. But maybe with now the study more connected to it that we will be able to carry out, because it's a very understudied subject, we will be able to also pinpoint by the how the holes look like, what the material look like, to pinpoint some kind of dating help to also use in other bathhouses. And I wanted to finish with this showing you some of the questions that are still unanswered, that maybe in the next years of the conference I will be able to talk more about it. So for example, I have those also ceramic products which I still didn't understand what they are, maybe pipes, maybe some kind of other tubuli, but they don't have holes, so it's very interesting. I haven't seen it in other bathhouses so far. And it's for sure from inside the bathhouse, it's, those pieces were mixed within the same fields as the tubuli parts. And also we have a lot. This is only a small part of these fragments of storage vessels, storage jars, which with Anna De Vincenzo, who is studying the pottery from the site, we are thinking something in terms of Crusader period-related industry, but it's still under study, and we shall have more interesting answers for you soon on this subject. So this is what I have for you for today, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Arleta. And now, if you have any questions to both speakers, Barnea, please join us. Questions, suggestions?
Another round of applause. That's it.
Can you stand up and say it louder? I couldn't hear it. באיזה שנה המים החמים הפסיקו לנבוע בבית מלחץ? אנשים ביקשו שאני אחזור על השאלה.
As for the building of the bathhouse itself, I don't have any proof to say that there was any kind of hot water already coming hot to the bathhouse. Everything was heated on the spot like in any typical Roman bathhouse. So I don't see the evidence of hot mineral water being used there, but
what year was the bathhouse destroyed? When did it go out of use?
עוד שאלות? מצוין. So we shall finish this section. Thank you very much for both speakers.